welcome to iTechTriad Live. This is episode 008. I'm joined by our special guest from Android Meter, Justin. How are you doing today, Justin?
I'm doing pretty well.
That's good. Nick, and how are you doing today?
Doing good. Glad to be with you guys today.
We're glad to have you. Also joined by my co-hosts, Ben and Andrew. Ben, how are you doing? Andrew, I'm loving the suit, dude. I was so happy to see you throw on a suit today. So
I did it for you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So, real quick, we got our special guest today, Justin and Nick. You guys are with Android Meter. Do you want to explain to our listeners and viewers what you guys do over at Android Meter?
Well, we're basically just like you guys, but we have a main focus on Android. We started back in May of 2011, and we just redesigned the site, and we're trying to go somewhere right now, try to get a couple more followers so that we could try to get to Google I/O this year.
Google I/O. Oh, we've been dying as well to go there. And so you
write. How much I want to go.
We've just been dying to go. We're looking forward to that and CES. So Justin, I know you do writing for the site as well. Do you also do the videos on the YouTube channel, correct?
Yeah, we all split the responsibility of writing and videos and stuff.
Okay, nice. And Nick, so how do you like doing articles and videos? You love doing it?
Oh, I love doing it. Justin's the one who got me into all this. I never wanted anything to do with Android, but Justin, this guy, got me into it. Now I love writing about it and all that.
You know, that's funny because we could kind of put Ben and Justin on the same boat here, because I think before I was that horrible Apple fanboy, and I had nothing I wanted to do with Android till, which sadly, this is crazy, I picked up a Galaxy S3 and the rest was history. Actually, CyanogenMod is what really kind of turned me over to, especially that stock experience. But yeah, we're kind of the same boat there. So it's a pleasure having you guys today. Just real quick to our viewers and listeners, the podcast is available on Pocket Cast, iTunes, Stitcher Radio, Xbox Music, an RSS feed, YouTube, and on our website as well. And this is our first episode where we actually have our webcams turned on, so you get to look at our horrible faces today. So, gentlemen, let's go into Apple. CarPlay, developed by Apple. We saw that. What are your thoughts on iOS kind of coming to vehicles?
Well, personally, for me, I think it's funny that people are fine with this, but they're not fine with people driving with glass. So instead of something that's hands-free, I get to go look down at my dashboard and go play my iTunes.
Yeah, I've got to say, because if you think about it, it's like there's this whole issue of using glass in vehicles. They don't want you texting and driving. They don't want you on the phone even driving. But yet we can see this in vehicles. It's very interesting how they will make exceptions here and there for different electronics in the car. Which, me personally, I think glass, I don't know why they would even consider giving issues with that, because, I mean, just think about it. You don't have to look down at your phone when you need to go somewhere. I don't know. What's your thought, Ben, on CarPlay from Apple?
I mean, I didn't really look into it very far. I know that it seems like a good idea. I like the idea of your phone being able to communicate with your car to an extent. I know Google kind of is trying to do the same thing with Android. I don't know. I can't remember what they're calling it. Justin, do you remember?
Nick, you wrote that article. Do you remember what it's called?
I don't know. I wrote an entire article on it, and for the life of me, I could not even remember what it was called.
Yeah, I can't remember what it was called either, but I know they're doing the same thing. They're doing the same thing with Android, so I think it's kind of cool to see how the technology is kind of slowly moving to our cars. I don't think it's safer than glass, like Justin said, but I'd like to see where it goes.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how cars and electronics kind of come together, especially with Google Glass and the issues that it's had. Now let's talk about that zero bezel iPhone 6, leak bezel that we saw there. What are your thoughts on this digitizer that we saw leaked? Real, fake?
Well, I'm not entirely sure. I know I wrote the article on it, and all I remember is it was a picture found. I forget where I got the article from, but it was a picture on a forum for Apple. It was a forum for Apple, and the picture came up, and then people were commenting on it like, "Oh no, it's fake." Some people thought it was real. Some people said it would look really ugly. I'm not entirely sure. It could be a possibility because Apple is, they listen to their followers a lot of the time, but I'm not entirely sure. I don't know how it would look. I've looked at the concepts before, and that 5C concept that Ben posted, that had the no bezel, and I was looking at that. I was like, oh, well, that looks pretty cool. So, I mean, we have to just see. I'm not entirely sure. What are your thoughts, Alex?
You know what? I kind of looking at the actual digitizer itself, the screen. It kind of, as soon as I saw it, I thought about that leak we saw about a month ago.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't know. It's like a lot of the times, though, if you look at it, some of the leaks if we saw the leaks for the 5S, I don't know if you guys remember, but the leak for the 5S came out. It was like a month after the iPhone 5 came out. I remember because I was like, wow, this is too soon.
Yeah.
And actually looking back at it, it was correct. So it's like, I don't know. It could. I mean, I could see Apple going that way because honestly, they seem to like to lose a bezel and get very thin with their devices. So
Yeah.
only time eventually will tell. And as we get closer to WWDC, then we'll see more coming along there. But that's pretty much it for Apple. Just a quick note to our viewers: IntelliScreen X7 is now available on Cydia. You have to be under the developer section. We'll have more information on that via a video and article in the future. So now let's move on to Android. This is right down Justin and Nick's alley. We've got quite a lot to talk about Android. Now,
Oh yeah.
first thing on that, Moto Maker coming to Eastern Europe and Mexico in Q2. Gentlemen, let's start off with you, Justin. What are your thoughts on that?
It was bound to happen. It sucks that it's taken so long. I mean, they've already said that they're going to release a second generation in the summer.
Mm-hmm.
So, those people will get their phones and then see the next version come out and wait another year before they can get it.
Yeah, hopefully that won't be the case. And actually, that was our next subject. We can kind of throw the two together. The Moto X2 coming out late summer of 2014. What do you gentlemen want to see with this device?
This is probably going to be the last Motorola phone we see working together with Google, so I really hope, since they got acquired by Lenovo, I really hope that this phone makes them go out with a bang. I'm really excited to see it, because I think the Moto X was probably one of the best phones in 2013.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I gotta say, when I use the Moto X at Best Buy, and at my fault, I'm thinking, man, I don't know how this device is gonna run. I have to say, it was one of the smoothest devices I ever used. To this day, smoothest device. And you'd think with the specs and everything, but it was just so buttery smooth, and it was a great experience. So I'm curious to see what the next Moto X will bring. So how about you, Justin? What's your thought on this next Moto X?
I think it's going to be kind of like the just next step. It won't be much different design. They'll keep the same look. Maybe they'll bring the screen a little bigger, but if they're going for the low specs, high performance like they already did with the first gen, I don't think there will be that much difference. I
Yeah.
think they'll just put a little nicer screen or nicer camera or something like that.
Mm-hmm. I'd like to see LTE support. Well, no, excuse me. That's
No, that was the Moto G.
Moto G. I get the two. I'd like to see the next Moto G have LTE. Dumb moment there. Anyway, let's move on to our next. Well, actually, Ben. Yeah, I had a dumb moment there. Ben, I know you're huge on the Moto X. That was one device you were thoroughly considering.
I wanted it so much, but now I got the G2. So.
Which I'm glad you did. But what was your thoughts? What's your thoughts on this next Moto X?
I was when I first got the G2, I was gonna hold out until I saw what was coming out of the HTC One, but things kind of fell together and I had to get the phone right away. But anyway, the Moto X, I was planning to get the next one as my next phone. I'm kind of skeptical now because of the Lenovo acquisition. I got to see what they're gonna do, but I'm still kind of curious. I don't know what I want to do yet with the next one.
But like what Nick said, this phone was pretty much all created while they were still under Google, so I don't think the Lenovo influence will set in yet.
Yeah, hopefully it won't yet, but we'll see what happens. I'm more concerned about not like I know they're gonna keep the design and the software and all that, but I'm more concerned about the Moto X got the updates before Nexus phones, so I want to see that happen again.
Hmm.
And I'm kind of hoping Motorola and not Motorola, Lenovo's not gonna put a damper on that.
I think I was watching the recap for the MWC Motorola MWC section, and they were talking about how with Google, when Google had them, Google didn't, they wanted them to do well, but they weren't like pushing them to do well because Google was already doing so well. Now Lenovo is kind of going, it's slowly down. So they picked up Motorola, hoping it would bring them back up. So Lenovo is actually depending on Motorola, they said, to keep them up and keep it going. So I think Motorola, it gives them a chance to really, work their hardest and try to pick up and make better, and focus on mobile devices a little more. So I'm pretty I'm interested in seeing what's to come from them with the Lenovo acquisition.
Yeah, so it's gonna be interesting to see what this Lenovo accusation does with the whole next Moto X coming out. Now let's switch over to the One Plus, that cyanogen phone coming out under $400. Gentlemen, what are your thoughts? Let's start off with Nick on this one. How do you like that price, man? Under $400.
I think it's a great price point to hit, and I'm glad to see that in 2013 we had a lot of phones get away from that $600 price point, and we really need to get away from that. And I really think it's great to see phones getting away from that $600 price point.
Amen. I agree, and I really that's where you see a lot of these companies heading, and Motorola kind of set the way with that with the Moto G, and we see that now coming just more and more of those phones. Actually, let's go back to that Nexus.
Yeah.
I
Yeah, we saw
can't forget the
Justin.
I already saw
Justin put
Justin
his
and
up.
Nick. Justin and Nick were like, "No, you didn't."
my
And
last two Nexus devices were under $400 off contract.
yeah, and that's the beauty of those devices, and that's what's great. And I agree with you, Nick. It's great that we're going that way, and I'm all for it. I'm all for it as long as we don't see them get, and we won't. I don't think with specs wise, we won't see the suffering. The devices will still be pretty good because it seems like now, like with the Moto G, as the prices go down, the devices aren't suffering though, and the Moto G is a good example of that. How about you, Ben? What's your thoughts on this device under $400?
Well, I'm glad to see the price there. I know when they first announced it, they said it is guaranteed to be under $500, and then their CEO said a little bit later, forget $500, it's going to be under $400. Of course, everyone's now saying it's going to be $399 like the Moto X is, but I wouldn't be shocked if we saw this at like $380 or $350. I could see this being a Nexus priced phone, which would be kind of cool to see. And speaking of that, Justin, which one did you hold up? Do you still have your Nexus 4 or you got the 5 now?
No, this is the 5.
Okay.
Yeah,
I couldn't tell you hold it up so fast.
I dearly miss my Nexus 5. You guys have no clue how much I miss that device right now. Oh, I missed it.
What do you have now?
I'm using an HTC One.
You switched back over.
Except if I ever did a hands-on, I wouldn't sound like a 2-year-old. So
Later. We'll get to that later.
we'll get to that a little bit later. Okay. Google Now Launcher hits the Play Store. That I was very happy to see. I know Justin, you and Nick as well. What are your thoughts on that? Let's start off with Justin.
Well, like the last update to it before this, they made it one package and they pretty much said it's coming to the Play Store in the code. I wish they came out with more devices because I know one of our other authors, Nathan, he uses it on his stock TouchWiz Samsung Galaxy S3 and it works perfectly. So I know it works with our devices, and it'd just be nice to see if they would open that up to give everyone a stock fill.
Yeah, and I think it's nice to see Google really with the stock keyboard and the Google Now launcher. They're really, in a way, trying to get people hooked on that stock experience. Which I know this is mentioned here. Just a side note. That's why I don't see the Nexus line disappearing at all. Despite the rumors we keep seeing, because it just doesn't make any sense. Andrew, Ben, let's start off with you, Ben. What are your thoughts on on the Google Now launcher hitting the Play Store?
I'm glad it's finally in the Play Store because it's easier for people to get it. Of course, we've been sideloading it since before the Nexus 5 was announced.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm glad it's finally in there, and I agree with Justin that yes, it needs to be on more things. I think I've heard a few reports saying it's been compatible with some CyanogenMod devices. Like I've seen people with the CyanogenMod N1 who have been able to get it. I know my G2 for some reason is compatible when I'm on CyanogenMod.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I can't remember who it was. Someone on Google Plus told me the same thing about their G2. So
Mm-hmm.
it's just one of those weird things. We'll see what happens. I like it. Though.
How about you, Nick? What's your thoughts on this launcher finally hitting the Play Store?
I think it's great that it finally hit it, but again, like everyone's been saying, there's no reason it shouldn't be available on a lot more devices because I had it on my old HTC One and it worked perfectly fine. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember actually getting when it first came out. I did have a few issues with my HTC One, but I could imagine between when I had, because I actually had an HTC One before my Nexus 5 suffered that dear drop that left me so heartbroken. Protect your baby, Justin. Don't let her fall. It's the worst thing. But yeah, and Andrew, I imagine you feel the same way with that as everyone else feels. So let's move on to our next one. We're going to talk a little bit Samsung. The Galaxy S5 impressions. We're going to revisit that, gentlemen. Let's start off with Justin. Let's start off with Nick this time. What was your thoughts revisiting the Galaxy S5?
I love the little spec bump that the Galaxy S5 got over the S4, but in my opinion, it's an ugly device. I do not like the way it looks at all.
It's like a Band-Aid.
I mean, yeah, exactly. It's just step down from the S4 in my opinion. I think the S4 looks better than the S5 does.
Yeah, I agree. How about you, Justin? What's your thoughts on the S5?
Well, Nick, what don't you like about the design? The back?
The back and the front. I think the S4 just looks better.
Well, did you like the backing on your Nexus 7, the first gen?
It was okay. I liked it when it came out. I did. I'm not gonna lie. I did. Yes.
So yes, like it looks ugly, but it's gonna feel amazing, and that's what everyone says.
Yeah.
Identical to that.
See, I kind of agree with Nick on that. I think what I think does to the fact that the distaste of the appeal is the different colors. Where the Nexus 7 had that darker color that wasn't as noticeable as when you throw yellow or blue on it. It's just like blue, and that form on the back is just like.
Honestly, I think the blue one looks good.
It does. I guess it's the color.
It's
Yeah,
that
I guess
gold.
That color that just it makes it pop a little more than like the Nexus 7. I mean that's my thoughts. How about you, Justin? What's your thoughts really on it?
Overall, I was hoping for more of a design change. I was hoping they do like every 2 years, kind of like how the iPhone does it. That's how everyone thought it was gonna come off.
Mm-hmm.
Like the 3 and the 4, they're very similar, slightly different. And I was hoping they'd do something different, innovative, something that would make the phone stand out more than just throw bright colors on it.
Yeah. Yeah. How about you, Ben? I'm waiting. I really haven't gotten, as sad as it is, as we talk so much. I haven't really gotten your official thoughts on this, so I'm looking forward to this. What are your thoughts? On
I talked a lot more about it last week on the podcast, because we recorded it the day after it was announced, so it was also fresh in my mind.
Here.
That's why I put it in the rundown to revisit it, because you weren't here, and then we also have Justin and Nick now. But anyway, I think I like it. The specs are nice. I don't hate the design on the front. I'm glad they finally got rid of the menu button. But because I still don't understand why a menu button is more valuable than a recent apps button to them for such a long time.
Yeah.
So I'm glad they finally realized that it's more important for me to be able to switch apps quicker than it is for me to hit that menu button that's already on the screen anyway.
Yeah.
But the design, I'm kind of mixed. I like the blue. I don't hate the black. Really, the white, I really don't really like because it's, I guess, actually, no, the white's not bad. That one looks kind of like a golf ball. The gold one is the worst. It's
Well,
oh, God.
Yeah. If you think about this, the thing is, even with the design, what you can do is they'll get to the point where companies will be taking that because you can take the back off because of the battery. You can take the back off. Other companies are probably most likely going to design something that fits back on there as like a different case that doesn't look so much like a Band-Aid, and then it would be more likable. So I mean, there's always companies doing that.
I know.
So
Actually, no, I don't think that would work if a third party made it because of the water resistance. I think they'd have some problems with that. I think I know I saw someone on YouTube. I can't remember who it was. They actually were they were at MWC after the event, and they got their hands on 2 Galaxy S5s. They took the white back off of the white one and put it on the black phone. So the front of it was black, and the back of it was white, kind of like the white Nexus 5, which I love that combination. So if I was getting one, I would either get the blue or the black and white. I know Justin's moving his head. What you don't like the black and white?
No, that was just I've held one in person. It's just not really pertaining to this topic, but it just did not fancy me. I didn't like it.
What, the white Nexus 5 or the Galaxy S5?
The white.
Oh, okay.
No, we'll have our hands on the S5 in April, and we'll actually see what it's like.
Nice.
Yeah, that's gonna be interesting to see now. Of course, with it's just overall it's Samsung. I'm sorry, it's Samsung. I think that I can just leave it there. Now my thing was I would have liked to seen if we saw the back of the the Note 3. That's where I thought Samsung originally was gonna go with the S5.
Justin's laughing.
They didn't whatsoever. So I gotta say though, this was probably the one device that we barely saw any leaks for, unlike the HTC One or the all new HTC One. That phone has been leaked left and right. But we've been hearing of maybe an all metal Galaxy S5 coming. What do you guys think about that? I already see Justin's like, no. What do you think, Justin?
There has been rumors that there'd be an all metal Samsung phone for years now, ever since the S3 came out, and it was the most popular one at first, and everyone's like, oh, there's gonna be a metal one coming out, and they said the same thing about the S4 and now the S5. All of their devices are plastic. They're not gonna all of a sudden switch to one metal one.
Yeah, I mean, we'll probably see
well, Apple switched from metal to plastic for a little bit.
Yeah,
that went pretty bad.
Yeah,
trying again. Maybe I don't know.
They better not. But I would like to see it. But I agree with you, Justin. I don't see Samsung. I don't see them capable of doing it. They've just plastic equals Samsung. That's pretty much it. Nick, what's your thoughts on it? I haven't heard much from you on it. What's your thoughts on a metal S5?
As much as I would love to see that happen, it's not going to happen. It's just, like Justin said, that rumor's been around for so long with every iteration of Galaxy device. It's not going to happen as much as I would like it to.
Yeah. And Ben, how do you feel on that?
I'm pretty much feel the same as them. I don't think it's going to happen, but I'd like to see it happen. The only way I could see it happening is in a variant, and we all know how Samsung is with variants. They have about 1 million of them. So
I think that's 2 billion.
I could see them doing a metal variant, but I don't think it had the same name. I think it had the same design. Like in the rumor, it actually said that it would be called the Galaxy F. And why they would pick that, I don't know. But
Galaxy F?
Yeah. So I don't know.
Okay, Samsung, you cease to never surprise me. Okay, so I think we'll leave it there. This is right down, Ben. I know your alley. The Samsung Chromebook 2 announced. I already see Ben
and
just
it was
lighting
so.
up.
That was so disappointing. Well, in a way, it was disappointing. I know, Justin, you've got a Chromebook.
It's got that fake leather backing, and it's gonna look amazing.
I love that. I love that fake leather backing on it. What disappointed me, I'm sorry, I actually like it. I like the fake leather. I think it's different. It's good, but what killed that Chromebook, they had the 1080p display. They had the 4 gigabytes of RAM. They had the good SSD. I mean, 4 gigabytes of RAM should be the absolute minimum now, but they killed it with the Exynos processor again. Oh my! The reason I switched from my Samsung Series 3 Chromebook to the C720 was because of that processor. It is terrible. It should not be in a Chromebook. I know the HP11 has that, and I know it's not as bad in the HP11, but
This thing is horrible.
I know. And this
Hold on, I gotta
even
say
worse.
this. Hold that
This
back
one
up.
is even worse.
Justin, hold yours back up. Yo, you got the HP model.
The HP looks amazing.
I thought for a second he was holding up a tablet.
Oh
I thought for a
no.
second, I
Yeah.
said, whoa, where you going with that?
No, I won this one through that Google contest that they had, and I was so happy to get it. I mean, I got it for free, so who wouldn't be? But then the moment I started using it, it just died. There's been so many issues with this tablet, or not tablet, it's Chromebook. It just, the screen likes to pop on and off, and it doesn't work.
Really? Wow.
Ouch.
I mean, my big thing is I don't know why all the Samsung and HP. I mean, HP had it right with their 14-inch model. They had a good amount of RAM, good SSD. They had I mean, it was perfect. And then they had an Intel processor. I don't know why the manufacturers keep feeling the need to put in the ARM-based processors. Keep that in tablets and phones, and give me a real processor. My Series 3.
Yeah.
I'm really mad because I have to use it for like the next week because my C720 is having a Wi-Fi issue. You can see it in the box back behind me, right there. It's in the box. I gotta send it back for repair, but so I'm stuck with the Series 3 for like the next week, and I'm probably not even gonna use it. I'm gonna go on my stinking Windows, which I'm on right now. I hate this thing.
Yeah, Ben texted me. He was heartbroken.
I was
about
so
to get
sad.
I was going to get him a card for a therapist, but I think he'll be all right on that. But gentlemen, due to time constraints, we're going to move on to our next. We got a lot to cover. We're going to move on to the next one. Project Ara finally comes to life. So
Let's let Andrew take that because he seems most excited for that than anyone.
I already heard him. Ooh.
Ooh, yeah.
Ooh.
No. I really like the idea. I thought it was a great idea when it came out. I only recently started following it ever since I got into iTechTriad. That's when I found out about it. I was like, oh, this is an awesome idea. But I looked at it, I was like, oh, that's cool. So I found out they're starting it back up. So they're supposed to be soon actually getting funds, I think, to actually start making prototypes. Because before it was just a concept. And they
No,
were
Google is
figuring
actually
out-
spearheading that.
They are?
Yeah,
Mhm.
Google's- like they have a developer conference just for it in April.
Oh,
They
yeah.
have, they have working prototypes already.
Yeah, and
Was-
I think I actually got the article from you guys,
Mhm.
if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
Someone wrote the article. So if you want, you can help me out with this, figuring it out. But yeah, that's the gist of it.
Yeah,
And,
it's just the whole idea of it is modularity and just being able to easily slide a piece on and slide one off. Like if you don't want a camera, you can put a bigger battery, or if you want a better speaker, you can go buy one. Like if Bose made one, you can go buy a Bose speaker for it and make your phone the best sounding thing in the world.
The only problem.
That's why it's so amazing. They want a cheap price and they want to be able to change any aspect of your phone that you want.
The only problem with that is someone being able to steal components from your phone without actually stealing your phone. That'd be an interesting sight to see. It's like,
So
I took your memory. You know, I don't know.
So we can call this basically, this is like Build-A-Bear, but
Yeah,
called the
for
Build-A-Phone.
phones.
Do you know how many times I've heard that reference in the past week?
I had to throw that in. I'm sorry, I had to throw that in. They should make a whole store and call it Build-A-Phone. In the mall.
Build-A-Bear should sponsor it.
Build-A-Bear would probably sponsor it. They'd probably be like, shoot, build your own phone, we'll do it. But
What I also love about it is that all the different pieces are user serviceable, so you can take off like the back covering of each little component. And what that means is you can also like 3D print your own backings. Like they're working with a 3D printing company to actually get something like that started, so you can upload your own design, then throw your own. Like you don't have to go buy some case or something for each and a piece. You can actually design your own color, your own shape, anything.
Do you know what company that is? The 3D printing company?
That is. Give me a second.
If you don't know, it's fine. But I was just wondering because there are a few out there. It could be. Because I know 3D printing has definitely got some attraction lately,
Nick,
and that's
what
a
are your
good way to
thoughts on it?
incorporate it. Huh?
We haven't heard from you, Nick. What's your thoughts on it?
This thing gets me really excited, guys. I'm not gonna lie.
You look excited.
I am very excited. I'm smiling.
Like, woo!
But I just don't think we're gonna see a consumer version of this product that's anywhere near as good as our phones for a long time, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
I can see it.
agree. Yeah. It's
Yeah, I
got
think-
it's the future. We'll put it that way. It is.
It is.
It is. But
Well, this is what they said about wearables. They were like, oh, well, I don't know if it'll catch on. But look at it now. We've got maybe Apple making one. We already have Pebble, which, oddly enough, was,
Andrew,
I
they
think, one of
said-
the best.
They said that like 5 years ago. They said that like
Exactly.
a few years ago. Now they're saying, and now it's coming. So if we say that
Yeah,
with Project
but I
Dara,
mean-
then it's off in the future. So we're not going to see a
It's
consumer
not too
launch.
far
but
off.
we'll see.
yeah.
5 years is 5 years.
It's a good time to start.
It is, and it's getting public light on it, which is good, and it gets people excited. Gentlemen, again, due to time constraints, we're moving on to the next one. Google Hangouts update. I got my iPad with my Google Hangouts update. I know some Android users are disappointed. I can already no.
Why did I put this under Android?
I don't know. I'm still wondering. That is
Because you
just
think of Google and Hangouts. You
Yeah,
think of Android. but
this is like putting iMessages under Android. It's like,
well, not really, but.
but what's your thoughts on the update? Let's start off with Andrew, because Andrew, you have used both.
Because he actually has it.
He has it. Yes.
Yes, I do have the update. And so do you, Alex. I mean,
Yeah, I'll let you go ahead and talk.
Google decided they wanted to focus on their Apple crowd this time, and they went ahead and updated the new Hangouts. I don't see why it's such a big deal. Probably because I'm not an Android user right now, but I can kind of see your frustration.
Mhm.
But no, I really do like the update. It's smooth and nice. I'm sure, Apple will use it. Was it you, Ben, who was talking about how Google wanted to focus on Apple users because I forget what you were saying. Someone was saying Google wanted to focus on Apple users because that's where their main people are using it. I think for whatever reason.
I made a post actually a couple days after this.
It was you.
Someone sent this to me from Reddit, and it was a couple of quotes explaining why iOS got the update and not Android. And the reason was that you remember as earlier, it was last year sometime, I can't remember when, but when Hangouts on Android got SMS integration, everybody was like, yes, we finally got that. It's now everybody uses one app.
Yeah.
That took a lot of work when the Android team, because they have two different development teams.
Yeah.
So when the Android team was developing SMS for Hangouts, iOS was like, well, we can't even do that. It's actually not possible for them to do it.
Yeah, they had different goals, you said.
Yeah, so they said, okay, so here's let's do voice over IP, Google Voice, and we'll put that in Hangouts.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, that's something that Android users have been crying out for a really long time. But, at least, it shows that they're two different teams working on two different things. They have the same ideas, they just don't have the same time frames.
Yeah.
One thing I've noticed with Google updating apps for iOS versus Android is, it was the same thing with Gmail. Gmail got this whole redesign for iOS, and it looked amazing. Everyone's crying out, why don't we have it for Android? And a couple months later, when it finally did come out for Android, it was everything that iOS had, and more improvements. There was aspects to the iOS version that weren't, or there was parts in the Google side that weren't on the iOS side that just made it fantastic and then made it so much better.
Yeah.
So I think it'll be something like that. We'll get the update in a month or so, and then it's going to have some features that the iOS version didn't have, and that's going to make everyone happy then.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to jump real quick. I just wanted to mention I've been using it, and I have to say, when Google does get this update, it is going to be huge because of the fact it's a beautiful, it's just the design and everything. Even actually the Hangouts tune is a little bit different, I noticed, from since the update.
The notification sound?
The notification, yes.
Mm.
But the design is so beautiful that it makes me want to use it as my stock SMS app right away. Like, as soon as I saw it, I'm like, oh, if this could just be my stock SMS app right now. So hopefully soon. What I also hear sometimes what Google does is a way to kind of woo over iOS users is give them the really good applications from Google, so when they head over to use an Android device, it can make that transition a little smoother. You know, they see Google Plus, Hangouts, and those were apps they appreciated on iOS. Because honestly, if, let's say Google played the same game as they did with Windows and took their apps away from iOS, people would kind of be in a little bit of a frenzy.
Yeah.
So that's just something I've realized with using the update. Now, Nick, what was your thought on this Hangouts update?
I have not even seen this update or what it can do. I don't have an iOS device, but I'm excited to see it come to Android in a month or so, like Justin said. I don't really have anything to say on it, though, guys. I have not even seen the update.
I'm just waiting for, as soon as that APK leaks out, I am on it quick. So, again, let's move on now to HTC.
Again.
Promotion, yeah, HTC again. They're still in the news till the end of this month. So, the all-new HTC One logo leaked out. More of this is now we have the name confirmed pretty much. Just about, what do you guys think about the all-new HTC One?
You have got to be kidding me.
Yes, thank you.
Can you do anything else? I will take HTC One 2 over this. I don't want to go into the store, and when I go up to the representatives, I don't want to go up to them and say, "Hey, can you show me the all-new HTC One?" It sounds like I'm doing a commercial for them. I just want to say, can you show me the HTC One 2? Can you show me the HTC? I want to see them call the M8. I want to see it call them the M8 because I love that name. I know it's the code name. I know it's the code name, the internal code name, but it sounds better.
I like the M8 a lot better. I'll just use that.
Granted, of course, we had that little inside joke about the chosen one. But...
Yeah, that is
the chosen one. Yes, I mean that would have been even better than the all new one. Which I mean, it's just this screams out this screams out Apple to me from the new iPad. I mean, really, all they did is just put all in the middle.
But Ben, I saw you having a conversation with someone online about this same thing, and they had a good point. What about the next 7? What about like any other product out there that they have a second generation? And there's just
yeah. And I see where that's coming from.
Called the Nexus 7.
I see where that's coming from. Like, but with the Nexus 7, Google didn't advertise it as the new Nexus 7. Of course, a lot of the different companies, like the accessory companies, called it that. But Google advertised it as the 2013 Nexus 7, which makes more sense. I would love to see the 2014 HTC One or the HTC One 2014.
Yeah.
Just not the all-new one, because then what are they going to do next time around? Are they going to call it the all-new one?
Yeah, and people are going to be like, I have the all-new HTC One. It's like, so you have the HTC One? Yeah, the all-new HTC One. No one's going to call it the all-new HTC One. The new iPad, we call it the iPad 3.
I don't know how many of you guys listen to the... I don't know how many of you guys listen to the Pocket Now Weekly. You know, they call it the Anho. The all-new HTC One. It's the Anho.
That might work.
That cracked me up when they first said that, but yeah.
Oh my word. And Justin, what was your thoughts on the all-new HTC One?
If you want, you can call it the chosen one.
It's gonna be not much of a difference. I mean, when you saw that crappy hands-on video that.
That's so we're so close to that. Let's just continue with this real quick.
Let's give it a minute. One more minute.
Well, that's how we know what it looks like. Besides the EV leaks, we actually know what this hardware and software looks like, and it's not much different. I think it's funny that the top, if you look at the boom sound speakers, quote unquote, they're not like even. The top one's over, sort of.
It's weird.
Doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Maybe it's like a factory issue, or I don't know.
And how about you, Nick? What's your thoughts on the? I'm gonna do a hand gesture here. The all-new HTC One. I'm just loving this right now.
It's just a dumb name. I don't know. Whoever came up with that name needs to be fired immediately.
Just like that kid's parents.
Oh. We're almost there, Ben. We're almost there.
I know. I couldn't resist. That was perfect.
It was most likely a group gesture. Like, they probably sat down and discussed it. It's not like one guy at his computer. All right, so the all new one. Enter, and then you can't change it.
How could
I
you
think-
possibly? How could you agree to that name though? I mean, who agrees to that name? All of us think it's dumb.
I can't think of one person who likes it.
Exactly.
I mean, honestly, I think they were just sitting in the boardroom and they're like, okay, so what do we name this phone? Hey, boss, how about the all-new HTC One? It's new, it's fresh, it's cool. They're probably
They
like,
give
yes.
him a raise.
They gave him a raise, and then maybe he will be fired.
Okay, really quick before we, because we're spending a little bit too much time on one name, but I just want to mention really quick. There's actually a poster up, I think, in London for
Yes,
the
I saw
phone
that.
that confirms the name again. So that name is confirmed, and we're all going to be sad about that for a second.
Oh, all of their
And now we're
videos
going to move on.
they say the all new HTC One.
Yeah, so it's confirmed. And I was
Definitely for an ad
the logo.
for them.
I was referring
Yeah.
to the logo.
Yeah.
Now,
Now,
when they
moving
call
on.
it the all-new HTC One in the video, I can excuse that because that's just saying it's the all-new one. It's not the that. I mean, when they said it in the video, I was like, okay, maybe that's not what they're actually gonna call it. When I see it in marketing material printed on paper, that's a little.
That's yeah. Real quick, we're just gonna move on to our next one. I'm gonna throw these two categories together: leaks in the wild, blurry camera, and 12-minute hands-on video. So, gentlemen, you guys can now talk about both of these. I know there's a lot to say about this.
That
Everyone's
video, though.
that video. Oh.
I just loved, after the fact, I stayed up several hours afterwards and just followed the guy's Twitter and Google Plus.
I did too.
Watching
I checked that out.
HTC start talking to him, being like, "Hey, we have the we know which one it is because you didn't cover up crap, and we
Yeah,
know
you
exactly
do.
what it is. Do your parents work for this company? Oh, they do. Okay." And then
Yeah,
later,
one
he got
guy.
fired and stuff like that, or his parents are fired.
Yeah, one guy on Twitter, he was like, "This is where you need to learn how to pixelate." 'Cause
That was
he
Shem.
was
That was
like,
Shem.
he like shows it up to the camera. He doesn't bother editing it. He shows it up and he's like, "Oh wait, let me just cover this." And then he puts his hand on it and then he continues. You know that
I think
happens
he
like
seriously
3
forgot
times.
there was. I seriously think he forgot there was a pause button. But there were 3 things that killed me. First, that he didn't bother to cover it up. Second, that he said he made the video on the 19th of last month. He had all this time to choose.
Yeah,
Am
to
I going to put
edit.
this up? Am I going to edit that out? Am I going to fix this? He had all that time to choose that. And as Justin was saying about his Twitter feed, he said he didn't have a YouTube account.
Yeah, he
I
said
think
he
that
had
was
a
the
YouTube
funniest
account.
part.
He also
He's-
said he didn't upload it.
That killed me
Like-
too.
Yeah.
I didn't do it. It's like, then who did it?
He said
I
a
didn't-
friend got into his YouTube account on his computer, and
But he doesn't
said
have a
a
YouTube
friend
account.
uploaded it.
Yeah, but he doesn't have it.
Exactly.
They don't have a YouTube. Ooh.
He also
Conspiracy
said that-
theories.
He also said that it wasn't the HTC all new one, that
Yeah,
it
he
was
said
the
it's a fake
HTC
phone.
one.
He
Yeah,
said
it's a
no,
fake
and then he
phone.
says it's a fake phone.
Like, really?
But he doesn't have a
Don't wanna
YouTube
be-
channel.
Yeah, and no, he doesn't have a YouTube channel. He didn't upload it, and it's a fake phone.
Oh, Ben,
Yeah.
what was it? There was now a bounty on
Yes,
the
and there
phone.
and right after it uploaded, someone put on Reddit. I don't know if this was. No one knows if this was real or not. It just came up on Reddit. It was supposedly from a rival company trying to get their hands on that phone before HTC could go get it. They said if anyone lives in this area, they actually posted the kid's address and all of his information.
Nice. Wow.
And they said, if you live in this area, if you can get this phone and bring it to us, we will give you $10,000.
Wow. But there are like
I had
people
a-
breaking
I
into his
don't know.
house.
I don't know if that was real. I think if it was real and it was a rival company, I think that's absolutely hilarious.
I think that's
Especially if it
downright
was like-
hilarious.
I think if it was like Apple or Samsung or LG or someone, I think that if that came out, that would be absolutely hilarious. But it's
And
just
you know
like,
what and I was gonna say, Ben, what I told you, I said, I actually made an Iron Man 3 reference to it when they put the post up. Did you guys see Iron Man 3? Justin, you and Nick, have you guys
Yeah.
seen Iron Man 3?
Yes.
I played that scene for Ben where Tony Stark comes out and says, "I'm not afraid of you." And just in case you're wondering, my address is, and he goes on names his
Yeah.
address. I'll leave the door unlocked. If that kid would have posted that, I would have officially just been like, "You win, you win." But
no,
yeah,
let me just deny I have a YouTube account, deny it was the real phone. I'm just gonna deny everything, and they're gonna believe me. That's what he thought.
first comes denial, then acceptance. He was
Plus, there was a reflection from his phone into his face. So like he had the video camera and he pointed it down, and then he had the phone right here, and then he was like, and then like the reflection was coming off the HTC all new one, and it was showing his face.
Did you just
And
call it
then
the all
he
new
tries-
one?
I did. Unfortunately,
No,
it's called
no.
the M8. I'm getting
No.
they got me. They got me. I can't do anything. No, the M8. It came off the M8, and it was showing his face and everything. The same exact face on Twitter with his hair and whatever. I don't know, but the fact that he denied it.
And you know what? It's like he's got the phone. He's like, okay, for example, here you see my HTC logo. He's like, okay, I don't want to show you guys that.
Yeah, he keeps
Yeah,
it.
'Cause
up
you can't pause it. You're not allowed to pause it.
It's like, are you serious? It was sad. It's like it would have been nice if, like, for example, you guys if you guys would have gone, you guys could have done a proper video and article where it's like very informative, gone into the phone, shown all the information. You know what I mean? Stay completely out of it, and this kid just he ruined it.
What
There
made
was
me
two-
start laughing is when he started to play Soldier Boy. In
Oh
the
my
middle of the video. I died
No,
at that
it's
point.
weird.
I almost
Now,
didn't make it to the
there was
video.
two things that really got me laughing. Is one, when he said he was special, and that's why he got the phone early.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh my
And the
God.
other is when
I
he
missed
picked up
that.
and the other was when he picked up his opened up his Kick account, and he's like shaking. He's like, I'm gonna shake this so you can't see it.
Yeah, Ben, I texted you. I told you. I was like, I told you about that. He's like, all right, well, I'll open up Kick for you. And he's like, I'm not gonna let you see my messages. Shake, shake, shake.
You can't
Then
see
he closes
it. You can't see it. It was. I mean, and then. You know what this kid reminded me of? Have you guys seen? There's this kid on YouTube. He does these videos. Like, for example, he's this Apple fanboy. Ben, you already know who I'm talking about. The
I hate that
Nexus
kid so
5
much.
comes out, and this kid says, the Nexus 5 is horrible. He's like, the display is
should
too
get an iPhone.
beautiful. He's
The
like,
display is too high resolution. It's
He's
giving
like-
eye cancer.
it can't, sir.
He said that about the S5.
Yes.
He says that about every phone that launches. He did it with the G2. He's done it with like everything since the third Droid.
Yes, I
It
think Justin,
kills me.
you saw that post I put up about it.
Yeah.
It was just like, oh, this kid, and that's what this kid. I was wondering. I wonder if it's the same kid trolling. But I don't. I'm just beyond how he even got his hands on the phone. I mean, even
Well, his
from
parents are
parents.
engineers. I don't know if they work. I don't know who exactly they work for, but they were fired.
Yeah.
And if you think
Heard
about it,
that.
he made the video on the 19th or something like that, and he had all those days. Don't you think he would have shown his parents before he uploaded it? Like maybe just shown for whatever
Nah.
reason.
He was
Or
gonna
how-
upload it.
Well, if they know he already makes YouTube videos, then why would they give it to him in the first place?
That's the question. You
Dude,
never
that's-
put that in someone's hands.
I looked up his channel. That was the only video he had. There was no
Oh,
other
really?
video.
Yeah,
Wow.
wow.
Yeah, he was.
That
apparently
explains
he was, Yeah, apparently he was starting to try out a gadget review. That's what he called his channel, was Gadget Review. He was trying to start up a review channel.
Started
And
wrong, man.
well, yeah, that's. I don't think that exists anymore. I don't
Okay.
think he's gonna have any more reviews.
I love
well-
how HTC was like, "You're gonna have a bad week."
Yeah.
They told him that.
I think we
Bad.
can move on from Inspector Gadget there. Move on. Actually, well, let's move to our main. Actually, before, real quick, Nick, I didn't get to hear much from you on that. We can't leave you out of this. What are your thoughts? I kind of see you here off to the corner.
Pretty much summed up. It's unfortunate that his lack of basic editing skills caused his parents to get fired and a bounty to get put on his head.
I don't even think it was his lack of editing skills. It's his lack of common sense.
I think, yeah.
Anyone could edit it. It
I mean,
takes 2 seconds.
yeah. I mean, stop the camera and then start it again. I mean, if worst comes to worst and you don't know how to edit, but
Put some duct tape on the back. Do something.
that
That's
is
what I would have done.
that is ghetto tech review. Okay, let's move on to finally we are here after covering all the news. Now, real quick,
All.
before we go to our main topic, Ben, did we have any questions we were going to answer because I can't get the comment section going up here to the side?
Well, we didn't have any questions. Let's see if anything came in on Twitter. No, it doesn't look like we got anything in on Twitter.
Well, that's
Nothing on
disappointing.
Twitter. I think we had a few were showing interest in the live stream. They're asking if we're
Yeah.
still doing it. But if any
Yeah.
of you are watching, thank you for joining us. Now we're going to move on to our main topic, gentlemen, Android skins versus stock Android. So I'm going to let Justin You get to take first dibs at this one.
Let's just say that every phone I have owned since the first Droid has been a Nexus device.
Mhm.
Or second, it was the second gen Droid. And the only reason why I had that is because I was able to hack it, and I threw my own ROMs on there. I myself will never personally own non-Nexus just because I can't, going from a Nexus device, I can't actually see myself using the other ones because they're so slow, they have so much bloatware. It just doesn't make sense to have software on top of firmware that's already there for me. It just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, it's I've been using a Sense 5, and I've used TouchWiz. I can already no TouchWiz. No, I don't. TouchWiz was. I got. We could be here for an hour, and talk about TouchWiz.
So next week, join us for a TouchWiz rant.
To TouchWiz rant. I've got to say, I genuinely, in using both, it's like stock Android is that pure experience. It just, and really, to move, I know iOS has nothing to do with this, but if you want to get someone on iOS to use Android, you give them a stock Android device or something running CyanogenMod. Do not give them TouchWiz. Do not give them, even though I got into Android through TouchWiz, it was because of the fact that I rooted and I saw the benefits of Android. But someone else, I'll tell you what, if you want to get someone over to Android, you give them stock Android. Because some of these companies, they just ruin it. Like Samsung, it's like they throw all this bloatware on it, and it's just like, it takes away from the pure experience.
Well, for me, I started recommending stock after Jelly Bean came out, because that's when everything became beautiful. Before that, I could understand the skin. I used to like Sense before they went crazy. But it used to be kind of clunky. It used to be blocky. It wasn't the most beautiful thing. And then Jelly Bean came out at Google I/O, and it was just beautiful.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, when I used it on my Nexus 5, it was the best. I mean, the best. The Nexus 5 was the best smartphone experience I've had. I mean, just the Snapdragon 800 on that thing runs. And you know where I'm coming from here, Justin. That thing just runs buttery smooth.
We gotta take a quick little break from the Android thing. This isn't official. I just found this.
Breaking news.
Gear 2 and Gear 2 Neo and Gear Fit prices supposedly leaked. $299 for the Gear 2, so obviously Samsung has not learned anything. And $200 for the Gear 2 Neo and Gear Fit. So yeah, they haven't learned anything.
I would get the Gear Fit before.
Alex, by the way, Alex, that breaking news music you did, that was Mario Kart.
Ouch. Are you sure?
Yeah, that was Mario Kart.
Okay, that was pretty awesome.
That did not happen.
Yes, it did. I'm gonna put it at the end too.
That did not happen on this podcast.
All right.
That did not happen. But just hearing from it, $299, it's like I would go with the Fit before I would go with the Galaxy Gear.
That's because the Fit actually looks nice.
That as well.
Yeah.
No, I've actually been holding off on getting any type of smartwatch. Like, I love the Pebble. I would buy the Pebble still in a heartbeat.
I'm still wanting one.
Yeah, it's just I've been waiting for the Google one. I'm like almost confident they're gonna announce it, if not release it, at I/O this year. And that I know is gonna be the stepping off point. Like, they're gonna have some type of interface that's gonna be similar to Glass, and that's what I want. I want something Nexus like.
Yeah, and so I'm looking forward to I/O just to see also if we'll see a public on Google Glass. I'm not gonna go into that because that's our kind of second topic if we got time. But Nick, what are your thoughts on this breaking news? And I'm not gonna do the sound again.
Still putting it at the end.
I think it's a shame that they're still pricing these things so high. I really think that if the Gear Fit was priced at what'd you say it was going to cost?
Supposedly, this is not official in any way. This is just a leak. The prices. This is European first, and supposedly it's just going to translate right over. Is 299, and then 199 for the Neo and Fit.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I really think that if they could have got the Gear Fit, especially, I think that's going to be the biggest seller out of all three of these. I think that if they could have got that at 149, that would have been perfect, and they would have sold a lot of those things. I just think 200 is a little bit too high for that thing.
Yeah, $50 can make a big difference.
Yeah.
They don't realize it, but $50 can make a huge difference because 149 is very appealing to the eyes compared to 200.
Yeah.
My thing is if you're gonna sell tablets, like tablets are now getting down in price thanks to the Nexus 7. Those are going down to like 200, even somewhere under $300. If I can buy a full-on tablet, why would I get a watch that has not even a quarter of the features that's in my tablet?
Yep. And I think, you know what Samsung, they're really going for? It's more of a fashion trend, really. They're trying to make it the next Beats headphones.
Which doesn't work because the original Gear was ugly.
You know what I mean? If you really think about it, they're just going to take the smartwatch, price at a crazy range. Oh, I can answer my phone call from my watch.
Hello? Hello?
Or I can just go, hello, and save myself $200 or $300. You know what I mean? So it's almost like they're trying to set a fashion trend. Andrew, want to kind of direct this your way? Yes, you.
Me.
What are your thoughts on this price?
Oh, well, like you said, it's kind of like the Beats. You know, and with Beats, they were priced high for a while. People was like, yeah, let's get those because they're so good. And I've been, you know, listening to all these other cheaper ones, and some of them just sound way better. You know, so this is probably the case. Is Pebble is probably still better. The first Pebble version is probably still better. You know, even stuff like Fitbit, I think that was a pretty good idea. I like that. But I mean, the price, it's getting ridiculous. And they're always advertising or preaching, oh yeah, everyone should be able to own technology, even, you know, if you make a lower income. That's not what they're proving with these high prices. So
Your phone's making some noise over there, isn't it?
It's
I
not
heard
me.
something. Okay. But we're gonna switch this back to our main topic. Breaking news. I have to do it one more time.
No.
That's still going at the end.
He's like, okay, we're gonna move back over Android skins, stock Android versus Android skins. Who was the last one talking about that? It was.
I think it was
Justin.
Yes, Justin. Do you want to pick off where you left off, or should we pick up?
Well, just one last bit about it is that Google Now launcher. That would be the perfect thing to put on different phones that have skins.
Mm-hmm.
And after that, I think the whole reason why Google needs to do that is so people see how nice it is in stock.
Mm-hmm.
And then once they have that, they can move over to the Nexus line or something like that, a Google Play Edition, some type of nicer phone that has less crap on it.
Yeah, I totally agree because it's just everything. And like going back to that beautiful experience with the Nexus 5, that was the best smartphone experience I've had. It's kind of I'm gonna kind of apply this to the HTC One. I had an HTC One. I sold it to get the Nexus 5. I had my Nexus 5 not broken,
And then drop.
and that was just heartbreaking. I would have not gone back to the HTC One. I went back to the HTC One because of price issues there. But I want to go back to the Nexus 5. I don't really go back to phones twice. Very rarely, unless I really like it. Like the
You go back to
S3,
the HTC One,
Yeah.
I really like the HTC One. That's why.
and
I
you got
really
a really
liked
good
it.
deal.
Yeah, and I got a really good deal. But I love the build on this device. If I had, let's say, the experience of the Nexus 5 with this device, you couldn't pry it out of my hands. But it's just that stock Android is just one of a kind experience that I'm a firm believer in. Nick, what your experience? You said you used an HTC One before, right? Have
Yes.
you used stock Android before?
Yeah, I sold my HTC One for Nexus 5 just like you did.
Okay. And
Yeah, I have
how
a Nexus 5 right now.
are you liking it?
Just like you said, it blew me away when I first got it. It was so much faster than I thought my HTC One was fast. The Nexus 5 just was way faster, and
Amazing.
It was just a joy to use it. I love stock Android, and that was the first stock Android device I'd used, and like
Same
I
here.
said, it just blew me away. It was amazing.
Yeah, I spent months trying to get him over the Nexus. Like when I first met Nick, I had the Nexus S, and even then I was like, this is so much better than any other Android phone out there right now.
Hmm. And Nick, what you? This is just kind of side question. Before Android, were you I imagine using iOS, right?
Yeah, I had an iPhone 3GS when that was the phone to have.
Wow, yeah, iPhone 3GS. I remember the 4 was hot when it came out. I was just curious because had you said Windows, I probably would have just gotten up and walked off. Yeah, 'cause
No.
even though Windows is it's coming along.
It is getting good. I've got that 520 on the table behind me. It's
But
it's not bad.
yeah,
But back onto skins
back
and
onto 'cause
stock.
we can go off. Ben, skins versus stock. Are you using a skin now? You stocked in the
Well,
past?
I was using a skin. If you consider signage and mod a skin, then yes, I'm using a skin. But I'm going to consider that stock because that's the way it looks. But yeah, I have the G2. I actually didn't hate LG's skin. I was shocked. When I picked up the G2, I was expecting, okay, so I'm going to be reviewing this after like a week, and then I'm putting signage and mod on it. But honestly, if there hadn't been an easy way to get signage and mod onto my G2, honestly, I probably wouldn't have been okay. I would probably would have been okay keeping LG stock software because it actually had some nice features. I didn't really like the notification bar because they got rid of the quick settings, but well, they got rid of the dual quick settings. But I honestly really liked the way that they had the quick remote set up and all their built-in features. Their camera software, I can't get over how good their camera software is. But it's just like skins, they have their ups, but they have their downs. Their downs would be they take up a lot of your RAM. I know when I had my G2 on LG skin, Justin, do you know what their skin is called?
I don't actually know if they have a name for it.
Okay, well,
It's just
The
anyway.
all new skin. I have to do that.
But yeah, their skin it's one of the better ones, I think. But the problem with it is it's very heavy. I mean, it's like TouchWiz heavy. When I had my phone on LG software, I was using over half my RAM when I was not doing anything.
Mm.
I was using the stock launcher. I just pulled the phone out of the box. I checked the task manager. I've got half my RAM gone. And then I go over to.
I have to agree with you that if I wanted to skin, I would choose LG's because that's the least loaded down. Like while there is cool features in it that still doesn't beat Nexus stock, if I had to choose between Sense, TouchWiz, or the LG skin, which I still cannot find a name for, I'd have to say that.
I think I've heard
because-
Optimus UI.
Yeah, that's what I'm
That might
getting
be
to.
it, but
Yeah, but it's interesting. You know, it's the comparison between the two. It's like, and some people, sadly, live by TouchWiz, live by Sense.
not gonna say any names. Samsung Knights. I'm not gonna say any names, but I know Justin knows who I'm talking about.
From our previous name, Ben was dropping some names our last review video, but yeah, so it's one of those things of what you prefer, but overall the stock experience it really is a better experience from
And
your skins.
that's exactly what I was hoping you'd say. It's an experience. It's not a look. It's not a style. It's an experience.
Because going back to
Yeah.
Nexus 5, that was an experience. The stock Android experience it's not how it looks, but how you get your things done. And it's just like I find skins, I don't know about you guys, just very disorganized. I mean, you try to get a widget on your screen on an S3 or look for an app. Like, for example, they have your apps and your downloaded. It's like, my downloaded should be on my apps. That should all be together. Don't put it in separate areas of the phone. So it's like, some skins will just get disorganized. What do you guys think about that?
I agree. Like my girlfriend has a S3, and I put CyanogenMod, but she wanted to go back for some reason. Don't know why.
Listen to her? No, I don't know.
And I literally, when I play around with it, it's so backwards to what I'm used to. I mean, with the launcher, yes, Google added where you no longer have the widgets in the app drawer where you have to hold down. That was a little disappointing to me because that felt skinish.
Mhm.
But it was still Samsung has their own way of doing everything. And
Mm-hmm.
it's the same reason why people, when they have Galaxy S3s, Galaxy S4s, so on, they don't think of it as being Android. I've heard people say they do not want to use Android, and they're sitting there holding the S4. It's like, what are you using? I'm using
Yes.
Galaxy. It's like
Yes.
running Android.
Yes. Oh, I've seen that before, and it's like you're not using. It's it's almost to the point of Samsung is trying to make their own OS.
Oh, they have their own OS.
Yeah, I mean,
they have Tizen, and I hope Tizen never sees the light of day anywhere except the Gear.
Yeah, I mean, as in the fact of putting it on their smartphones. Please don't. Just stop. Just stop. I have a strained relationship with Samsung at the moment, as you all can tell.
Well, I think it was
complicated.
Ars Technica had a hands-on with an S5 that had Tizen on it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it was literally a complete clone of Android. Except it was their TouchWiz.
Oh man. Yeah, it's a sad subject. Now, we're not due to time. We're not going to move on to our second topic, but
That's easy.
the second topic. You know what we're going to do? We're going to leave the second topic for our next podcast together, which will hopefully be very soon. We'll talk about Google Glass because I really want to get deep into that. Because if we go into Google Glass, we will be here for a while. I know, Justin, you already got a bunch of things. I want to hear about them. So we'll do that for our next podcast. We're going to kind of draw it to an end here. Yeah.
Next time we're together.
And
Which, this was fun. We'll do it again.
Oh,
Definitely in the future.
We definitely have to. This was fun. So anyway, gentlemen, Justin, Nick, thank you for joining us. We appreciate it. To our viewers and listeners, be sure to check out Android Meter. You can catch their website. Visit the website, subscribe to their YouTube channel. We'll leave links in the YouTube video. If this is through social networks or any other ones, you can follow them, www.androidmeter.com, correct, gentlemen?
Correct.
Okay, so visit them then, and youtube.com/androidmeter, right?
Yes.
I'm doing good. So anyway, thank you everyone for watching. This was episode 08 of iTechTriad Live. I'm Alex. I'm joined by Andrew, Ben, Justin, and Nick from Android Meter. Hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll see you in our next podcast. Yeah.
By the way, Alex, that breaking news music you did, that was Mario Kart.
Ouch. Are you sure? That's...
Yeah, that was Mario Kart.
Okay, that was pretty awesome.
That did not happen.
Yes, it did. I'm going to put it at the end, too.
That did not happen on this podcast.
All right.